The inevitable culture shift, how a formal health and safety system based on ISO 45001 promotes best practices, fosters fairness and productivity. Introduction. In the public sector and in small businesses, a profound organizational sickness can take hold. This pathology is characterized by a fundamental disconnect from core purpose, an inward focus on process, and a crippling inability to adapt. It's a disease born of fragmentation and isolated thinking. While a robust management system based on the ISO 45001 standard for occupational health and safety is the remedy, this paper argues for an even more profound, and perhaps inevitable, outcome: the creation of a positive, ethical work culture. This culture, rooted in the principles of fairness and social justice, isn't just a side effect, but the very engine that drives productivity and organizational success. A company can confidently build a formal health and safety management system using the ISO 45001 framework without seeking or needing certification. This approach positions the company to meet regulatory expectations, such as those from WorkSafe BC, and prepares it for a formal audit should the opportunity arise. The strongest counterargument: culture cannot be managed. Before we can argue for this cultural transformation, we must confront the most powerful critique: that culture is an organic, human phenomenon that cannot be engineered or dictated by a bureaucratic, rules-based system. The argument goes like this: you can't mandate trust, you can't audit empathy, and you can't create a sense of shared purpose by simply checking off boxes on a form. To suggest that a rigid, ISO-driven framework can improve something as complex as human relationships and collective sentiment is seen as a cold, mechanistic view of the workplace. This critique holds that the very act of standardizing processes will only stifle the creativity and informal interactions that are the true source of a healthy culture. The response: providing the conditions for culture to thrive. This critique is valid in its concern, but it fundamentally misunderstands the purpose and function of ISO 45001. The goal isn't to manage culture, but to provide the conditions under which a positive culture can flourish. The best systems don't dictate human behavior. They eliminate the structural ambiguities and injustices that cause distrust and cynicism in the first place. A system based on ISO 45001 is not a straitjacket of rules, but a foundation of disciplined flexibility. It aligns with the International Labor Organization's ILO mandate for decent work and social justice, which defines a healthy work environment as one that offers productive work with a fair income, security, social protection, and human dignity. The connection between a system based on ISO 45001 and a positive work culture is not accidental. It's a direct and inevitable outcome driven by three key mechanisms. 1. Ensuring fairness through transparency. ISO 45001 is built on a process-based approach. By documenting every step from raw input to final output, it makes the entire organization transparent. This transparency is the bedrock of fairness. When processes for promotion, performance review, or resource allocation are clear and based on objective criteria, it removes the ambiguity and perceived favoritism that kill morale. Everyone understands the rules of the game. This aligns with the ethical principle of accountability, which requires an organization to take ownership of the impacts of its decisions. Investopedia. A transparent system makes it far more difficult for the psychotic behaviors of siloed departments, like hoarding information or passing the buck, to take root. TET 2015. 2. Empowering employees through self-correction. The Plan Do Check Act (PDCA) cycle, a core pillar of ISO standards, isn't just for correcting mistakes. It's a powerful tool for empowerment. It requires every level of the organization to actively participate in identifying risks and opportunities, measuring performance, and proposing improvements. This turns employees from passive rule followers into active problem solvers. This agency and sense of ownership is a foundational driver of employee satisfaction and engagement. Research consistently shows a strong positive correlation between employee involvement, communication, and overall productivity. ResearchGate. 3. Embedding ethics and social justice into the method. The most compelling link is the explicit alignment of ISO 45001 with the core principles of social responsibility. The International Labor Organization, ILO, a UN agency, has the fundamental mandate to advance social justice and promote decent work by setting international labor standards. The foundational principles of ISO 45001 are directly rooted in ILO Convention 155 on occupational safety and health, and its accompanying recommendation R164, which promote the prevention of accidents and injuries at work. By implementing a system based on ISO 45001, an organization isn't just following a rule, it's making a public and internal commitment to its employees' well-being and to the community's health. This elevates the work beyond mere profit or bureaucracy, giving employees a sense of purpose and pride. When an organization's methodology is ethically sound, it fosters an environment where trust and integrity can thrive. Investopedia. The final outcome: productivity as a product of culture. By addressing the root causes of organizational dysfunction and embedding fairness and social responsibility into its very methodology, a system based on ISO 45001 creates the conditions for a positive work culture to appear. This is not a lucky coincidence. It's the inevitable outcome. A culture built on transparency, empowerment, and a shared ethical purpose directly enhances an organization's productivity. When employees feel they are treated fairly and their work has meaning beyond a fragmented process, they are more engaged, more collaborative, and more willing to innovate. They are no longer working in a fragmented, inward-looking silo, but are contributing to a unified, cohesive whole. This transformation is the ultimate expression of corporate health. It demonstrates that the most effective way to achieve an organization's mission, whether in government or small business, is to prioritize the well-being and dignity of the people who carry out the work. Sources: Tet Gillian, The Silo Effect, The Peril of Expertise and the Promise of Breaking Down Barriers. Simon & Schuster, 2015. International Labor Organization. Decent Work and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. ResearchGate. PDF. The Impact of Organizational Culture on Employee Productivity. Investopedia. Business Ethics, Key Principles and Their Importance in Today's Market. International Organization for Standardization. ISO 45001 to 2018. Occupational Health and Safety Management Systems. Requirements with Guidance for Use. WorkSafe BC. Certificate of Recognition. COR Program. For more information on Active 8 HSS Health and Safety Training, go to active8hss.com. Email mike@active8hss.com or call 25058-10582. Don't let oops be your business plan.